Now, this is honestly the highest sell-through rate items that we have ever sold routinely. It's something that's out there. It's something that many people may miss as well, or may just assume doesn't carry a value to begin with. Hey, it's Don. Today we're going to talk about literally the highest sell-through rate item that we sell. Now, if I list 100 of these, 60 or more of these will be sold pretty much every time I list them. We're talking about something that most of you will think is odd that we've been selling for probably 6 or 7 years. I'm literally talking about dust jackets. That's all these are. These are not the books. These are just random dust jackets from older books. Now, to be honest with you, dust jackets can be 100 times rarer than some of the rarest books out there. It's the rarest part of a book for the most part. Without the dust jacket, a book is not technically complete by collector standards. They want the dust jacket. I'm going to show you a few listings here, which I'm sure will surprise you, where just pieces and chunks of dust jackets have sold for hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. Now, we've sold well over $10,000 in just dust jackets. That's no exaggeration in any way, shape, or form. In one single day alone, we sold almost $4,700 worth of just dust jackets. A few of the dust jackets that we sold in the $800 range just for one single dust jacket that wasn't anywhere near in mint condition. The dust jackets were the first things lost when someone gets a book. They're pretty much set aside. Some people keep them on them. If they keep them on them, usually the dust jacket can be demolished. The spine can be damaged. The spine can be lost. There are places that take the dust jackets off and then use the books for various purposes. I'm not going to shell that one out here because I've said it in many other videos. If you've watched my channel, you probably know where I'm talking about. If you haven't, I've got other videos discussing the same thing. There are, though, places to source these out in bulk many, many times. Across the country, it's not just a regional thing. You don't have to live in a very specific place. Even small towns will have some places where you can get exactly what I'm showing you here. Now, with the dust jackets that we've purchased, out of a 600 or so assortment that we picked up on one time, this is all that's left. There's about 40 of them, and that is it. All of the rest of them have sold on eBay. eBay is probably the best source for them. Dust jackets, again, are super, super scarce. There are different versions of them as well. Many times you can tell the version of the dust jacket by the price, the amount that the book would have sold for at a book stand. Sometimes they varied in price, so you could tell if the first edition, first release may have been one set amount. So you could also run into some that have different artwork on them. And it may have the right date, the right amount on it, but the artwork on the dust jacket itself may not be correct for the very first state, first printing, first edition on something. You've got to look out for it. Like this one here, this book is $1. This probably is from the 40s or so. Now, many times I run into these, and they'll date back to the 1930s, which we were lucky enough to find several nice assortments by sourcing out for them specifically. We sold a little engine that could dust jacket, just the dust jacket, no book, for $800, as I said earlier. That is probably one of the highest ones we sold, but we sold a whole bunch of other ones for, geez, up to $300-400 each. We sold a whole bunch of them for $50 to $100 each as well. A lot of the earlier I Can Read book dust jackets do extremely well. Now, I'm going to show you some really interesting ones that I think will surprise you based on condition and things like that. So we're on eBay and we're looking at just the sold listings, just sold, and we're only looking at basically the last 90 days. The solds only show you that length of time. So if we went into Terapeak and looked for the same basic numbers, these would be off the chain, the amount that actually specifically were sold. So there's a ton of these that sell every single year. Now, just because I have dust jacket in here doesn't mean that's only what's selling. You'll see them obviously with the book, because again, a book is not complete without the dust jacket. Like this, the Cat in the Hat here, and this one says it's signed by Dr. Seuss. $15,000, a very, very nice price for sure. But if you look through here, if you want to sell it for a lot of money, if it's a first edition in the whole works, they've flagged it as having the dust jacket as an item specific. So all of it shows up here. The dust jacket is key and essential, but most books that I run into, most decent books that aren't coming from a collection, usually have either a terrible looking dust jacket or they just don't even have a dust jacket to begin with. So as you look through here, you'll see some horrendously high prices. They always show the dust jacket. Gone with the Wind, a perfect example here. Dust jackets are available. There are places for a very good reason to find just dust jackets. All you got to do is think a little bit outside the box on where people use mass quantities of books. That's all I'm going to give you. Hopefully you can dig outside the box. And I know there's people who figured out when I've brought this up before, because I had a couple people actually reach out to me and tell me, hey, I know where you got the dust jackets from. So I know there's the opportunity to still get them because other people found them after I've talked about them. They are out there, I promise you. Now here's Tropic of Cancer. This is a dust jacket. We're not going to go into the book itself. We're just talking about the actual dust jacket itself. It's a first edition dust jacket only, as is. Why is it as is? It's missing the entire spine strip. There's an inch and a half of paper totally gone. It's gone. It doesn't even exist. The front flap is not connected at all either. You can see it has a price on there as well, but this is a UK import. The book was banned in this country, so there's not many of these over here at all. 50 francs, you can see right there. Look at the condition. That's all I should have to say to you. I see people throw this stuff away. They'll get books in and they'll just trash this stuff. So many times for the big, huge book vendors or book sellers, I can work out some deals sometimes and get a ton of dust jackets. Sometimes the book's moldy or damaged and doesn't smell very nice and they don't want to sell it, but I'll always take dust jackets. That's one option there, that you can get some used ones, maybe not in the best condition, but there are places to source dust jackets. If you know what you're looking for and you understand the scarcity on some of the better known books of the dust jackets themselves, you can really rake out. Now, it doesn't even have to be the first edition, first state, first printing dust jacket to carry some value. Sometimes the second and third ones can carry some tremendous value because it's such a limited print run. Sometimes maybe a later edition dust jacket has artwork by somebody very well known and it's an only example and it was limited. Hence, those dust jackets can be worth a lot of money as well, just because of that. There's a ton of reasons why dust jackets are worth some money. I don't care how much of a dust jacket is there. I still hang on to it. I take care of it. I make sure to wrap it up in the whole works, and I treat it like gold, just like anything else I ship. Now, here's a perfect example of fragments. This is fragments of the dust jacket available with the book. It has the book here, but they were smart enough and thought enough to go ahead and keep the fragments of the dust jacket. This is a dust jacket that never shows up. Now, I've found the book on several occasions, so the book isn't a huge ordeal to find. If you dig and see a ton of books, you're eventually going to run into a first of this. It may not be in great condition, but again, even chunks of the dust jacket will add to the value of it. Now, it also has the inner flap also. It doesn't look to be attached. Maybe it is. It's kind of hard to tell, but those parts and pieces, even if they didn't have the book, they might have got a few $100s easily for just that amount of a dust jacket. Now, here's a couple more examples from Stephen King. It doesn't even have to be super old. Now, when we get books or something like that, or I've bought some for the wife, she usually does take off the dust jacket and sets it aside so she won't damage it while she's reading the book. Many times people will forget about it. It'll be in a drawer. And I've turned up dust jackets at estate sales and places like that, church sales even. Sometimes they're mixed up with posters and things along that line. These two original dust jackets, Gunslinger, obviously, hopefully, I should say you know that title. Hopefully you know Firestarter. $650 for these two dust jackets. Now, it does help if you know specific authors as to whether a specific dust jacket will hold some value. Now, this is Agatha Christie's, The Man in the Brown Suit. Agatha Christie's extremely well collected. Many times they will have cut corners like you see there. That's what most of mine have. It was held on a book. That is usually done to hold it in, maybe if they have like a Mylar plastic cover for it or anything like that. $630 for this. No price clipped. That's another thing you want to know. Sometimes the only difference between a dust jacket edition is the price on it, and sometimes people will clip off that price so you can't tell. That way you won't know if it's a first edition or not. It'll look the same, but the price is gone, so you can't prove it. Sometimes they cut them off when they were clearance books in some cases in the clearance section of the book aisle. So there are a couple reasons I've seen where people have cut them off. But mostly I always worry if it's somebody trying to mislead somebody by removing the way to tell if it's a first edition. You always want the price on the dust jacket. Here's another example of an early one. Now the book itself is something that you could run into. It's not super rare. Victor Appleton wrote a whole bunch of series from this early turn of the century time frame here, a bunch of them. Look up the name, you'll probably recognize some of the books that he wrote. But with the dust jacket, it's just insanely scarce. It would be like finding Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew with the perfect first edition state dust jacket like this one here. It's just not going to happen. And the artwork is actually fairly nice for this sort of thing too. It's really indicative of what you would expect from this era. And it went for $921. So it gives you an idea on the value. If I see a dust jacket, and I know the book itself doesn't sell for a lot, I can almost always assume if it's from certain eras like this one here, I'm going to get 20, 25, 30, 45, or 50 bucks on average for any of them. Most of the books that are at least adventure and along the lines of, you know, young adult books like this one here, some of the Boy Scout books, the Bobbsey Twins, things like that, those will go for far more money with the original dust jacket. So anytime I run into stuff like that with the dust jacket, I really nab it up, and I don't mind spending extra money for it. Trixie Belden, Nurse books, any of those kind of series there are phenomenal ones to nab up like this here. Now here's a Dr. Seuss specifically, Green Eggs and Ham. Again, the dust jackets have various versions of them. Sometimes you can tell the dust jacket by the other books that are listed on the back of it. Usually, as they add new books, they change stuff, and you can date it by when a new book was pushed out into the line. So that is a way to date many books, and sometimes the dust jackets as well, like this one. It's a nice condition. It does have some issues, some rippling and things, which is to be expected in a lot of these books. The dust jacket is far better than the book itself. The book itself actually has writing in the whole works in it. Chances are, if somebody's buying this, they're probably trying to nab it up, in my opinion, for the dust jacket, and then they'll swap it out for a better condition book and then just sell the book. A perfect example here, over $900 for this one. Now, in some cases, people have made aftermarket dust covers, basically a dust jacket. It may not be the originally released ones, but some of them can have some high collectible value, like this set here. It looks like 5 of them. It has some other items with it too, but the dust covers, the dust jackets themselves are where the value is at. This sold close to $1,000 US. It sold from New England, as you can see. It's an excellent item. Again, it doesn't have to be super old. It doesn't have to be anything like that. It has to have a good collector base that's willing to shell out the money. Dust jackets, though, in general, as I said, is one of the highest sell-through rate items that I ever sell, just because of the sheer scarcity, and there's always someone looking for some of the harder to get titles, always for just the dust jacket in general. Even if they have one, they're always looking to upgrade it. You may have a nice condition book, but the dust jacket may have been worn out, damaged, ripped, the spine may be gone, like one of the ones we just showed you a few minutes ago. Now that's just a touch on it. They are out there. You've just got to realize, think about it for a little while, where you could find something like this. And I assure you, if you figure that out, you figure out why they would be there, you're going to be able to score some of these in your local area as well. Well, there we have it. Hopefully that gave you some ideas, some thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell all your friends.